Chase, I got to ask you, are you still good? Is it still the nickname Mapletron? Are we still cooking with that? It's your nickname. You got to live with it, but I think you're lighting up the NFL. It's kind of got to get to be on a bigger stage. It's still Mapletron. Are you still good with that?
I honestly don't love it.
That's where I'm at, man.
Yeah, I think it was something that fans made, and they were just trying to make something catchy off of my comparison to Megatron and being Canadian. And I think it's a little bit cheesy, but the fans love it. So, I don't know. I'm at a crossroads right now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't give yourself your own nickname a lot of the times. It's like you can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to have to be teammate-driven. And, how do they respond to you as a rookie who you're stepping in on a veteran team in a football town? You've got, the grizzled veteran quarterback of all grizzled veteran quarterbacks, and yet you've found a rhythm. I mean, you've been lighting up the NFL early in the season. How has the team responded, and how have you felt about kind of finding that rhythm and finding your role in the team?
Yeah, I think as soon as I got drafted, I knew I was going to be able to have a good impact because of the receiver room and how they all play well off each other, and then the special teams aspect. But as soon as I was drafted, I was super locked in on making it into impact and doing the things that I could do to kind of fulfill that. But, yeah, I think it's just staying on top of things and not letting things catch up to you was my biggest kind of couple steps that I had to keep doing throughout the fall camp and the season.
Chase, you're taking the league by storm. You've obviously had a lot of success. Your name has grown, your popularity, everything. Do you think no fans or very little fans, do you think if there was fans in the building, fans in Pittsburgh, your kind of persona would be even bigger than it is right now, or not much difference?
I think more people would recognize me, but I mean, I guess the social media game has taken off, so that might have been an alternative, either being known in person more or being known on social media more.
Yeah, you are blowing up on Twitter anyway. At Chase Claypool, you wrote the other day after you guys beat Baltimore, a massive win, you're 7-0 in the season. Losing, never heard of her. And it's got almost 12,000 retweets, 60,000 likes. I'm assuming the rest of the AFC North is not necessarily retweeting that and loving it, or even the AFC for that matter. But I like that kind of approach to social media. You have not lost a game since you stepped into the NFL and your team's rolling. I'm assuming you're not the only one that's confident in that room. How can you pick up on the confidence in the room right now?
Oh, no doubt. I think these guys are super excited to be at the point where they're at this early in the season, especially based off what happened last year. So, you got to – I feel like personally you have to display your confidence, and there is a fine line between confidence and, I guess, arrogance or cockiness. And if you're able to kind of find the sweet spot, then I think people will love that.
Well, Chase, you found the sweet spot in that 4-touchdown game. I wondered, who the most famous person you heard from after that game was.
So Calvin Johnson actually texted my teammate Ebron and said he watched the game, said good game, and he said he noticed me and he thinks that I have a decent future ahead of me. So that was pretty cool to hear through Ebron that, Megatron, the guy I got my nickname after, was just talking about me.
Well, in that game, you had 3 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. You got 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. Was that a part of your repertoire when you were at Notre Dame, and were you expecting that to be a part of the playbook when you got to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think that I knew I was always capable of doing it. It wasn't something I really did that much at Notre Dame, but I was surprised how early they wanted to get me in the running game and how successfully – sorry, it's a tough word for me apparently how successfully they could implement me into that run program or what you will and use that games.
with Steelers wideout Chase Claypool. I went to school in Toronto, and there was a guy named Mike Labinjo who was just lights out at our high school and took the whole city by storm. And everyone knew he was going to a big school. He was going to D1. Ended up going to Michigan State, made it to the NFL, finished his career in the CFL. But we in Toronto were thinking, who's out here? Who from the States is picking up on this guy? We know he can play. But are the scouts here? Are the schools really here scouting him? What about Abbotsford, BC? When you grew up in a small town in BC, and obviously you were a lights out athlete and you were putting up massive numbers, but did you believe that the big schools would come at you? And when you got offered a scholarship and an opportunity to play at Notre Dame, what was that reaction like?
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't think that I was honestly going to go D1, not based off skill, but just more off exposure or lack of. And so when school started talking to me, I thought it was just insane and how lucky I was to be able to go through that. At first I thought I was going to go to SFU, which was a D2 Canadian school. But shortly after the next year, Nevada started talking to me, and then everything kind of rolled from there.
So did you send a tape out? I mean, that's probably pretty old school. Now you get like text coaches and stuff, but like how did people start hearing about Chase Claypool?
Right. I didn't even market myself intentionally. I kind of just posted my highlight film on Facebook, and a football trainer said he would send it up to his connections. And the next week I was talking to Nevada, and they were getting ready to offer me. So if I didn't post on Facebook, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's as modern as it gets right there with Chase Claypool. And then you go to Notre Dame. You obviously have yourself a great career, and you end up going, early in the second round to Pittsburgh. When you were at Notre Dame, by your final season, you knew you were getting drafted. You knew you were putting up numbers. But at what point did the NFL dream start to become more and more clear that not only are you going to get drafted, but you're going to get there and be given an opportunity to really perform?
Yeah, I think it began my sophomore year of college when I was a starter for the first time and starting to make a couple plays here and there. I just told myself if I'm able to keep doing that and, stay out of trouble, that I have a pretty good shot. And so as the years went on, sophomore, junior, senior year, it became more and more real. I would say I was really, really banking on playing the NFL at the beginning of my senior year. So kind of put all my dice or marbles in the bag, and it worked out.
Yeah, I would say so. Chase Claypool, wideout with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today's obviously a big day down there in the States, being Election Day. What's it been like, over the past couple of months being a Canadian in a locker room filled with Americans with everything going on with that election down there?
Yeah, I think it's super cool hearing both sides of the spectrum and being able to be the third party unbiased because I'm unable to vote and just kind of hearing both sides. So, I've had the chance to listen to some of these political debates, and I think it's fascinating kind of how much deeper it is than one would think.
Yeah, it's going to be something tonight, and you guys will be back on the field this weekend, 7-0 on the season. And you might be in the toughest division in football too, right? I mean, with Baltimore, Cleveland's lurking, Cincinnati's getting a little bit better. The AFC's loaded. Kansas City lurking in the background or in the rear view for you guys. How tough do you think it's going to be to hold on to this pace and win the division this season?
Yeah, no, I think obviously we're off to a great start, and the thing that we keep emphasizing is just to finish strong and to finish the season strong, because we can still go 7-9 this year, and maybe not even make the playoffs. So we're just trying to stay focused and take it 1 week at a time and never look too far ahead.
Well, continued success. Again, you're lighting this league on fire. There's a lot of people up here focused and tracking you as you would expect. And just keep that rolling, and good luck down in Pittsburgh. We'll do it again down the road. Thank you for this, Chase.
No doubt. Appreciate you guys.
There he is, Chase Claypool, wide out with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I knew he didn't love Mapletron.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be something bigger.
Yeah, just I get the Canadian angle and all that. Maple's our thing, but also you don't want to be attached to Megatron. Like Calvin Johnson,
give him his own thing. It's got to be something different.
Yeah, it's got to be different. It's got to be unique, because like Megatron is just a freak. Like he, there have been arguments he's the most talented, freakish wideout in the history of football. Like I don't know if I would necessarily say that ahead of Jerry Rice, ahead of Randy Moss, but you can make that argument. Chase Claypool has been in the league for 7 games, and he's putting up numbers, and that's pretty cool that Megatron reached out through Eric Ebron to let him know, hey, I'm tracking you, I'm watching you. Like that would be a wow, I'm in the NFL moment if you'd ever see one.
Well,
but he needs his own nickname for sure.
I was going to ask you guys, who would be that for you? Like, Jeff, who would be the player where if he reached out through like a buddy and he's like, man, I saw you and you're pretty good. And Hayes, like, would there be like a TV host, a radio host? Would it be like Alex Trebek?
It'd be James Myrtle for me. Myrtle would be my guy. If James could reach out to me at any point, I would take it and run with it. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that in terms of radio or TV. Hockey, I'll bet you Owen and I might have the same answer. And I don't know, Dougie Gilmore back in the day.
Yeah, Dougie Gilmore. I was kind of, I guess, happy with myself. I had dinner after a game against the Penguins with Mario, and he was talking with Ronnie Francis, and he was talking about taking me away on a 5-on-3 because he didn't want me to have the one-timer and score the goal. That was kind of like where I was like, man, Mario Lemieux was just referring about me in a hockey game. That was kind of my moment where I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's as cool as it gets.
Yeah, exactly.
And you weren't known as Super O-Dog. That's, or the Magnificent One.
No kidding. My name's O-Dog, not Super anything.
But you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to relate.
I get it. Everyone knows that. You didn't have to. You're not. What are you?
I don't have one.
No, I know.
But what I'm saying is you don't want it. You don't want that. That's Mario's name. You got to have your own one.
Super O-Dog.
Super O-Dog, the Magnificent O. We fly around.
Yeah.
We fly around.